ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Shyzalosophy 101. Here's your host, Shyzabox. Oh, they must have called us. Oh, they must have. That's our introduction. They love us. Everyone loves us. Fantastic. All right. Now, get out of here. And the horse you rode in on. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome, nuns and all. That's right, priests, preachers, bishops, cardinals, rabbis, missionaries, folks in passing, anyone who accidentally clicked on this link, anyone who was like, I'm gonna mess with the live streamer. Welcome, ones and all. We've got a show for you now. That's right. Something to celebrate, Internet, because, believe you me, there's one thing you like, it shows, right? That's right. And if there's one show that you probably don't like, it's ours. Can't all be good. That's why we called Daryl Dixon dibs on being the best of the worst there is. That's right. You might be saying, damn it, why didn't we think of that, right? Unfortunately, it's because we thought of it first, until we called Daryl Dixon dibs, being the best of the worst internet celebrity there is, okay? Now, obviously, that does come with some privileges, like not making any money, right? No, that wasn't a joke. You laugh, Internet, but you're a ruthless bunch. You would expect nothing less. But, alas, we come today in great tidings and great justification. That's right, because we know that you're doing great. And not only are you doing great, you're probably doing even better now that you're aware that you can take it upon yourselves to not only reach out, branch out, go on about a, regular routine that you're into or that you enjoy or that you like. Okay? How's the working out for you? The working out, you mean the doing lots of energetic activity and things of that nature to, like, work out and stuff? Oh, it's going great. That's right. We're doing all sorts of stuff. You might be saying to yourself, like what? Right? All sorts of stuff. Bro can't even read. Now, ironically, not only can we not even read, we can't even do all sorts of stuff. You might be saying to yourself, get better. If we got better, well, then we would be in the same boat as a lot of other, internet celebrities, okay? So, who the hell is that? We didn't even have any. Bro can't even read. No, that's because we didn't have our prompt up. But now we do. So, Crappy71. Oh, sorry, Cappy71. Sorry, we can't even read. So, Cappy. We can call you Cappy, right? Of course we can. C-Money. So, C-Money. We didn't really start reading, okay, until well into the latter years of not too long back, okay? Now you might be saying to yourself, that's no surprise. Yes, that is no surprise. We were once bogged down with our, free time with which we would spend doing things like, playing games, not doing anything of, necessary, worthwhileness in all of our free time, okay? We devoted a lot of times to different endeavors and things of that nature that, didn't really have a mass payoff or anything like that, okay? So everyone, of course, will spend time doing that of what they feel like spend time doing, okay? So when you say we can't even read, it's not that we can't even read. It's that we don't necessarily read well. Okay? And believe you me, you saying that doesn't even bother us. Because Cappy71, we can call you Cappy71, right? Yeah, of course we can. So, C-Baby. C-Baby. Like we said, we didn't start reading until well latter into our years, but I'll bet before you made that comment, you didn't know that we literally have a shit ton of literary works available on Amazon.com and Kindle of the Unlimited, right? Now, not only did you probably not know that, But you probably didn't know that we even have some advanced meta philosophy that we, kind of released called Delectable, okay? That's right. Now, not only did you unawareingly say, bro can't even read, and start poking, jesting, making fun before we were completely set up and good to go, but we appreciate that. You know why? Because it drives us and motivates us to do absolutely nothing different than what we already do. Because not only were you unaware, most likely, that we have our own self-published literary works, Pickle Punk Philosophy, Transmutating God, Why Hast Thou Forsaken Me? That's our theological philosophy on those last two, if you're into any of that stuff. Nailing Kalimba, if you like any kind of other stuff. And every good philosopher, you probably didn't know that we do cosmological philosophy, right? Bet you didn't, Cappy. We can call you Cappy, right? Of course we can. So, C-Money. Every good philosopher needs their own poetry book. We got one of those too, baby. It's on Amazon.com and Kindle Unlimited, okay? And we're not even saying you got to go buy this shit, okay? Because a lot of people don't want to. And that's fine. But you were probably unaware that in addition to some of those, we also did a little thing called monograph lectin, okay? Lectin's a pre-Stoic philosophical term. Okay, so when you say bro can't even read, okay, Cappy71, we can call you Cappy, right? Of course we can. So, see, baby, when you say bro can't even read, dude, not only can we read, we've probably thusly now outread the majority of a lot of other folks in a lot of realms of stuff, okay? Now, everyone commits to themselves what they want to do in their free time and what they feel like embarking upon. But when we go and start venturing upon, because we got a history major, philosophy minor, okay? And we venture not to go out into the far west coast, okay, and spend $250,000 upwards of moving, relocating, and chasing a piece of paper for cosmological philosophy, which is offered way out west into California, right? That'd be foolish. So when we take it upon ourselves to entertain things like, foundational knowledge, okay, the foundational essence of being and things of that nature, okay, we write books like The New Non-Native Species on Mankind's Origin, okay? So when we're reading things like Pythagoras, and when we're reading people like Aristotle, and when we were reading people like St. Thomas Aquinas, okay, and all of these folks have some correlations in a lot of their works, but hey, Cappy71, you're probably already aware of this, as you well are, because not only can we, in essence, not read all too well, but you're probably more well-versed in a lot of literary endeavors that we've embarked upon ourselves. So I'm sure you have your own formulated theories and opinions on stuff, and please, throw your link to your books in the chat so that we can check your readership as well, okay? But when we did our book, New Non-Native Species on Mankind's Origin, we contemplated the perplexities, okay, of historically speaking on the timeline of mankind's origin, where things would fit into the scope of what is versus what was of account, okay? Fantastic stuff. We love diving into that. But keep in mind, okay, everything here is for philosophical entertainment, okay? You don't need to embark on anything that with which you choose not to, okay? And, Cappy71, this is, in essence, where we get to the root of just kind of starting off on unawarities, okay? When we monograph lectin in our book Delectable, okay? Now this one, Cappy, we would say we would love everyone to go buy every single one of our books. You know why? Because we'd get $1, right? Fantastic, right? This is the one book that we wrote that, as every author would, want it to jump in sales and skyrocket. This is one book that we tell people do not buy. Do not buy the physical copy of Delectable, okay? That's because it costs $250, all right? The minute that we theoretically and verifiably, according to our own accord, check our own math for yourself, okay? The minute that we were able to move a metric kernel of data from Kaggle to Web3, okay, so Jupyter HTML, all right, we thusly proved our abilities in our monographing of lectin. So we were like, well, we've got to play the academic route, right? So this puppy physically is $250. Don't buy that one. Digitally, it's fine. Get a Kindle Unlimited. You can read it and stuff. The information therein is infinitely worth that of what you'll pay. But, Cappy, we can call you Cappy, right? Of course we can. Cappy71, we go back to ones of earlier, this stream earlier ago, right? And believe you me, not only were you, in essence, when you come down to it, correct in what you presented and put forth, with us, in essence, not being able to read, but you left one little word out right in front of bro can't even read. And not in front of that, in the middle of that somewhere. Bro can't even proofread. Oh! Yes. And then, Cappy, you're correct. Because we find literary errors in every single thing that, ironically, we end up doing, okay? That wasn't a joke. It's an unfortunate side effect of when you're doing things like being a self-published author, when you're doing things like being an independent researcher, when you're doing things like bringing forth to those who want it and developing things with the community on the fly, all right, we present an IPFS site, all right, with which we offer free LimeWire-inspired music players, okay? You can make your own curated playlist and listen to music nostalgically like the past. We have games out the wazoo in the arcade section. We got some thoughts, some theories, some things of that nature, okay? It's all on the IPFS, okay? All of this is available. So when we don't read, it's just that we don't read well, okay? We don't proofread, all right? And a lot of times we jump the gun and speak without thinking and or thinking. Yeah, kind of the same thing, kind of not. Okay? When you're a internet celebrity like we are, hey, that wasn't a joke. And you're the best of the worst, because you claimed it like Daryl Dixon Dibs. Okay? Everyone who's seen Walking Dead knows that Daryl Dixon Dibs applies. Okay? And we called Daryl Dixon Dibs on being the best of the worst internet celebrity there is. That's right, delay laughter, but took you a while to think about how funny we are. So, point being, that's okay. It's because we're hilarious. Excellent, you're queued up. Perfect. The rest of the show can commence in form and fashion. What were we talking about? You're back! Rue, you're back! Fantastic! Sorry you had to wait through all that other stuff. We don't even know what we were venturing off on. Something about us we can't read. But apparently we couldn't read, and now we know that you're back. And even Bandito Gaming's here, giving avocados or something. Thanks for the avocados. Excellent. Rue, glad to see you're back. We can call you Rue, right? Nah, of course we can. So, our money. As we were talking to Cappy earlier, you might be saying, who's that, right? Nah, don't worry about it. Don't get jealous, okay? There's plenty of Shyzabox to go around for everyone, okay? Anyone can buy our literary works. Amazon will sell you as many copies as you want. That's right. Buy some for your friends. Oh. Buy some for your enemies. There you go. However it works out, we get a buck. Yes. But as we sit back, as we venture into, that of what is doing great, we think to ourselves, you're doing great, okay? You yourself, you are doing great. You know why? Because not only were you able to stumble upon this, right? But it means you have working access to some form of entertainment or, viable functioning device or platform or medium that allows you to do more than you may be aware, okay? Now, case in point, you go to the scriptification, you go things to like, the random games and stuff that we got available. You don't need money to have a good time on Web3 in the wild, wild west of the future internet, right? Now, keep in mind, as we're laying the structural foundation, okay, of what decentralized web, in essence, hosting and things of that nature is, all right? Web3 is the Wild West, and believe you me, you found the ground floor level of it because we got working code and shit up and running now. That's right. Not only that, but we make stuff day of with the community and get it up and running within a mere amount of hours, okay? This has been proven. We have Joey's Meat Run. We have the rest of the working parts of the site available, all right? We have working swarm mesh demos, all right? All this stuff is out there. All of this stuff is free. That's right. Because what no one that we end up making stuff with, unbeknownst to them, and or they think we're joking about it, like someone jokes and says, "Is mayonnaise an instrument?" Okay? Well, guess what? You try and mess with us in the chat and stuff like that, it is now, all right? Because we made a literal mayonnaise instrument demo that's up and running on the IPFS site right now, all right? You can go check it out. It's called Mayo Mental. You can shove a fist into Granny's jar of mayo as many times as you want. We prefer to get to about 70-ish%, okay? That's our favorite tone. Yes, laughter warranted because we're hilarious. That's right. You have to be when you call Daryl Dixon dibs on being the best of the worst internet celebrity there is. Okay? That's right. So you can go check out the IPFS and you can go dink around with stuff like that. But the thing is, you don't got to. You know why? Because there's other stuff on there too. There's games. You want to go play some free games? They're on there. Don't cost a dime. Just got to wait the amount of time that it takes for the IPFS site to load. Okay, now if everyone's wanting to get their load on and no one's downloaded the site and, ping it themselves or run it as a node to help anyone that's trying to get to it and stuff, get it a little faster, okay, because eventually you'll get there. Especially if you're using Chrome and you got to download the extensions for IPFS and stuff. Some people don't know how to do that. Some people, that's a pain for them, okay? So they end up just going and using Brave or what is it, the DuckDuckGo and stuff that have it naturally, just in there. It just works, okay? When you look at future technologies, the other day, hell, we were on, the Instant of the Gram, okay? Hey, don't matter. We're on the Instant of the Gram, okay? And has anyone ever heard of this thing called Vice? I don't know. Okay, if you've heard of Vice, good for you, okay? You know Vice? All right, we don't follow any of that crap, okay? Well, you laugh. We're just too boomer, I guess, all right? Vice is offering, now, of course, keep in mind everything here is all for philosophical entertainment, okay? That's right. Vice is offering like 10 grand for folks to, put an individual track up or whatever on their centralized, hosted, we don't want to say censored or anything like that because who knows, but they get all of the foundational things put in there and stuff, so they get all of these things. They're offering 10 grand for whoever wins the track and you get featured, right? Well, that's kind of old school thinking. That's kind of yesterday's technology, right? Well, it absolutely is, because we already got a LimeWire inspired music player, okay, on the IPFS site, okay? That's on Web3 right now. You go, you download it, and then you can have it forever if you download it, all right? And you don't even need internet for it to work or anything like that, okay? You can upload your own curated files, playlists, things of that nature. Good fun, all right? With Shyzabox not being under a good old-fashioned NDA or anything like that right now, we can freely give and kind of share all this stuff or whatever in the iterations that it's out. And, it'll never be, in essence, then paywalled. It's Apache 2.0 right now. It's free range, okay? You want to go get a LimeWire inspired music player and listen to music nostalgically like times of the past, you can do that, okay? It's on the IPFS site right now. The scriptification, okay? You just go down to the audio section. Is the first one on there is the LimeWire inspired music player. Then there's the digital kalimba under that, and then Mayo Mental under that. You're back. Excellent. I think we already read that chat. Perfect. So, point being is that now, with how things are going, right, with us, in essence, if we can go back to reading, not reading, proofreading well, not reading well, getting off on wrong foots, making, claims on stuff that one doesn't understand or know about out of jest or out of spite or out of trying to be funny, and then realizing that they kind of put their foot in their mouth thereafter later, stuff happens, and believe you me, we welcome anyone to audit any of our math, go check out the IPFS and have good old-fashioned fun with any of the working demos and things of that nature. Okay? The games are on there, the demos are on there, and it's all free. That's right. So, if you're doing great, and we know you are, okay? Because, like we said, you have a foundational ability, all right, to get to a source of technology, a source of future as kind of, things of that nature, okay? When you start talking about Web3 and the wild, wild west of the internet that exists and, is in existence and that we are literally building the foundation of right now as we speak, okay? Others as well, surely, all right? We don't know of who else has their own sovereign micro blockchain, okay? We know of a lot of cryptocurrency chasers and seekers and stuff like that with their little pieces of code and whatnot, like, oh, I got a cryptocurrency, whatever the fuck that is. Okay, good for you. We got a sovereign micro blockchain, okay, with which we are releasing games, demos, things of that nature, trying to make use of it instead of hoarding little bits of code and stuff like that on an entire open grid, okay, instead of hoarding, little bits and things of that nature. Start using those little bits and things to create, to do, to, lay the foundation of what is possible. And that's what we love doing with the community and everything like that. So, as we think to ourselves, what is the next step in our foundation? Not being under an NDA or anything right now, it is going back to what we were just talking about a couple streams ago, okay? So, whilst you're doing great, we know you have access to, future technologies, and whether you utilize ours, utilize your own, utilize, components or aspects of ours and make them into your own, that's fantastic. Because the more sites that get up and running, the more demos, the more variety and stuff like that that's available, that's going to make for one hell of a fun time or whatever on a good old-fashioned Web3, right? When you have the ability to create some of the first iterations of tools and things of that nature, inherently, you might miss the scope or the, little venues and avenues, all right, with which access to that may lie, all right? A lot of people didn't understand the initial, kind of techniques that were utilized back in the early musical days, okay? Now, we want to be very vague and cryptic with some of our vernacular pertaining to the early music days, okay? When there was a wild, wild west that was surrounding all of the music and things of that nature that people would come across, listen to, embark upon, and maybe even share with some of their family and friends. Okay? As everything cycles, as everything goes, all right, when you start moving techniques and migrating, in essence, computational code and things of that nature to a degree and componential aspect where you can, mitigate any of the entropy caused by it, okay, where you can allowably disseminate everything without needing to make a whole data center to house information and run cooling systems and heat sink this, that, the other, all right? There's ways to theoretically go about that with the decentralized process that Web3 offers and has, okay? With that being the case, laying the foundation of it, making these working demos, providing them, for everyone to peruse, providing the code for everyone to check over, a lot of times individuals might miss out, like we said, on the scope of what foundationally is necessarily happening underneath their noses that they're completely oblivious to and unaware thereof, okay? Right now, existing on Web3 is a working LimeWire-inspired music player, okay? We know it's there because we put it there. We made it. Okay? Good. Laugh all you want. It's not a joke. Not only that, there's a working swarm mesh demo, okay? When you put those two things together, all right, and deductively reason where the future is heading as far as technology is concerned, as far as what needs to happen, as far as data storage and things of that nature are concerned, stuff's being built and happening that literally people are oblivious to, okay? Good. Laugh. That shit's funny as hell. It's gonna be hilarious eventually to someone. Maybe not to those folks that miss out. Maybe not to those folks who try and mess with us in the comments in the chat by saying, ridiculous things like, is mayo an instrument? It is now, okay? You think it's a joke, but if you want it to be, we'll do it for you. Not only that, but we did do it for you. That's why there's Mayo Mental available right now on the IPFS. Ridiculous. The dumbest shit ever, okay? Mess with us in the chat. Do as you will, all right? Keep it clean. Keep it courteous. When someone comes in and jokes, they understand not what we can deliver, okay? Now, conceited arrogance, yes, that all conveys probably way more so than we would ever intend and or desire or want, okay? That's right. We boo it ourselves, okay? When we called Daryl Dixon dibs on being the best of the worst internet celebrity, okay? With that comes the responsibility, all right, that inherently ties into having to deliver something, okay? You can't deliver if you don't deliver. So we like to deliver, all right? We deliver the games to you on the IPFS, okay? They're free. Go play them. We deliver the LimeWire-inspired music player to you. They're free on the IPFS. Go check them out should you choose, okay? All of this stuff we deliver, and what's even better is the themes that are available on the LimeWire-inspired music player, okay? The themes that are available, we literally made a theme in the 6 that are version in demo working order now that are up and running. You can go do, all right? One of the themes is inherently almost named an homage, okay, to the individual on the stream that, concocted the pirate idea of, teasing us and saying that we sound like a pirate, okay? Hilarious. But now, because we're making, the upgrade and stuff for the LimeWire-inspired music player then, all right, where you can curate your own playlists and change the themes out, because of that, now there's stick figures dancing on the bottom of every theme that you choose on the player, and they're all interacted with ridiculously differently, okay? It's ridiculous. Hey, if you go to the iDone update version or the iDone theme, literally there's stick figures dancing. You curate your own playlist, which is old school, nostalgic ass fun, okay? And watch the fun ensue, okay? The stick figures dance and a literal pirate comes and knocks them over, okay? It's stupid, okay? It's stupid awesome. That's right. It's ridiculous. Not only that, but, the other versions on there too, the Ember theme. Literally, people are dancing little stick figures, all right? And a little guy on fire runs by and lights them all on fire and they go crazy, right? Burning people's funny. Whoa! No. We're talking about stick figures, okay? This isn't real. This ain't for kiddies. Or it is, doesn't matter. Point is that it's funny as shit now. When you're an independent researcher, when you're a, solo programmer, developer, and things of that nature, there's going to be little bugs and things like that that stick into the code. When you're a self-published author, as we ourselves are and stuff like that, then there's going to be typos and things of that nature that you realize are in your books on occasion after you're like, well, shit, I guess that's going to have a typo in it from now on, unless we fix it, but... do we go back and upload a, single little fix for, a little typo in a book like Nailing Kalimba or something like that? Yeah, we want to read a good book. Hey, who was that? It was pretty funny. Warranted. That's right. Yeah, we're on your side, Internet. We are one of you. That's right. That's why we provide what we do for free to you. That's why we make what we do with you and provide that as well, because it's funny and awesome. So, as we think to ourselves, stuff on the horizon, we were talking the other stream, all right? And we were going to do a kind of schematic blueprint, and we have it now in demo fashion working order, but we're not completely happy with it, so we have not uploaded it yet. All right, but we will. At least an iteration or version of it and stuff. We're closer than we were before. Fantastic. When we get to the point, all right, that we are pleased with the actual schematics for our old school medieval crossbow, kind of historical demo, kind of just interactive visual apparatus, right? It's going to be ridiculously awesome for what it is, because it's going to be another little visual interactable artifact, okay, if you will, available on Web3. That's right. The more stuff that's there, the more code that's available for anyone to gander, take, utilize, use, all right, it's going to be better, because thence they can upon themselves do that of exactly what we do. Make it better, make it bigger, all right, and then hopefully, work in conjunction with those around you and things of that nature to ensure that, things are just better as a whole. Don't let the, initial outlying parameters get breached. You know what we're saying? Yeah, probably. Before the foundation's set. But believe you me, the foundation is set. That's right. That's why now we're just kind of dinking around and making and doing whatever. Joke with us in the chat. Is Mayo an instrument? It is now available on the IPFS. Okay? Make a game about Joey's meat run, up and running. You are running from the Joey monster, chasing you. He's trying to throw meat at you left and right. You gotta avoid it at all costs, because if it's from Joey, it's a no-y. We made this game. It's up and running. You can go play it now. Good old-fashioned fun. Available on the IPFS. But as we sit back and we think of the schematic that we have about to, hit the site and stuff, in a timely manner as soon as we get to it, we're ready for the next endeavors and things of that nature. We're going to move the trash bin pile. We're going to add the game down there on the IPFS site. We'll move that to the arcade because it's a game, and we want, the trash bin to be something a little more trashy, right? We want the trash bin to be in itself, not necessarily a game, which is what it is now. But, it's something to do. It's not a dead-end link, and we made it in conjunction with, that of the individuals that stop by, that grace us with, not only their thoughts, but their presence as well, and we definitely appreciate it. That's right. Because, as we said, Internet, we are one of you. And we know how ruthless you are. That's right. We would expect no less. That's why we ruthlessly try and pursue that of the same thing, which is finishing up what we need to go finish up. So if you want to get out of here now before us, now's your chance. And as well, admittedly, same thing we always chase is that of what sustains our daily bread. So, we bid you adieu. As always, we don't want your subscription, we want your money. Downvote the shit out of this, go to Cashapp and give us a buck. Get off our lawn!